Hey everyone, it's Chris Benz. Today's video is all about the K&K Pure Mini acoustic guitar pickup. And the guitar we're going to be using for this video is my Yamaha FG700S. Now this is my first guitar and I love this thing. I'm really, careful with it. I really care about it. So one of the real reasons I'm interested in this pickup for this guitar was that this thing does not require much modification at all. There's no big preamp up here. There's no body routing. It's literally just where the end pin is, and it just glues right under the bridge. It's just three little heads and, really simple. So let's get into what's in the box.
And just a little bit more about what's in the box. So you have your installation guide and manual. You have your installation tools, which is described how to use in the manual. I'm actually taking it to a music store because I don't want to do it myself. I just don't want to mess it up. I'm sure I could do it. I know a lot of people do it themselves, but I'm just taking it to a store. And then here's the actual pickup itself. You can see the heads of the pickup are very, very small. There's these little tiny discs and this short little wire.
So we have the pickup installed in this guitar. As I mentioned, I took it to a music store to get it installed. I could do it myself, but as I said, this is my first guitar. I really care about this thing, so I wanted to have it professionally done. The pickup itself was only, $100. The installation was maybe that as well, as maybe $200 total to get this thing put in professionally. So really not that expensive of a modification. And let's just start with the most important thing about this pickup, I would say, is its subtlety. There is no real way to tell on the outside that you have this pickup installed. There are no visible wires. There's no, anything moving in here that I can hear, any wires. Like I said, no body routing for the preamp or anything. It's literally just the end pin, and which it's disguised, to be an output jack. So really subtle, and I really love that because I was really kind of worried about modifying this thing and doing anything permanent to it that would change the sound or appearance, and it does not impact it at all. It's insanely small, really lightweight, doesn't change anything about how this thing plays acoustically, which is what I was really worried about. So that's why I got this thing. And so now that we have it installed, let's just get right into the sounds. So first thing I'm going to do is just play this thing acoustic, just mic'd up, no pickup. So I'm just going to lower this mic. All right. So I'm just going to do a little finger style, just as a comparison. So let's just play a little. Strumming. So that's just the guitar itself. I think it sounds pretty good. I always love this guitar. So let's raise this back up. All right, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to play something very similar, and we're just going to use the pickup itself. So here we go. So I'll just play some fingerstyle. So just a little, improvised playing, whatever. With both, plugged in and just acoustic. just to get a feel for the sound. Now, to me, my ears, especially when playing through, a speaker, a PA, these sound very similar. Like, I've played a lot of guitars with the piezo system, the undersaddle strip, the piezo pickup, and I'm actually a big fan of that sound. I think it sounds pretty good. But it definitely sounds kind of different. It has this more kind of tinny, snappy sound to it, which is what you're going for. That's cool. But it can sound a little thinner, I would say. And this thing definitely has like a very full sound. If you actually see where the heads are glued under the bridge, it covers the full kind of area here, and it gets this really nice frequency response. It's really wide, and you get all the bass and the treble in there. It just sounds really, really nice. So I think it sounds very similar to how the guitar sounds acoustically, which is kind of always the challenge, of amplifying your acoustic to sound kind of like your acoustic. So this thing does a very, very good job for how small it is, how subtle it is, how inexpensive it is, which just goes to show why this thing is so loved. I mean, all over the internet, this thing is like one of the number one reviewed acoustic pickups. I think it's like the most popular acoustic pickup, and there's definitely a reason for it. People put these in all sorts of guitars. People put them in thousands of dollar Martins and stuff I've seen, and it's because it's a great pickup. It's not, it's just tried and true. It's just a really nice pickup. So I got it in mine, and I'm very happy with the sound. So that's just a little comparison. Next, we'll just play it with a focus on if you were using this for a live situation, which a lot of people would. Now, again, there's no controls on this thing, which is one of the bonuses to me, one of the benefits, because I don't want this thing too modified. But I have a pedal board, I have controls on my speaker and my PA and all that stuff, which I can adjust volumes and reverbs and such. So we're gonna go with that in mind, how it sounds with reverb. So also for this video, I have a very simple setup here. I have this guitar plugged right into an audio interface, right into GarageBand. There are no effects on GarageBand. It's a straight plug and play, no acoustic preamp. It's literally just plugged right in. So it's how it sounds directly, no influence on the sound. So that's what you heard previously. And now I'm going to play it with some reverb, which I find really makes it just like amazingly beautiful sounding. I mean, so I'm going to add a reverb here. I have the Strymon Cloudburst for this video. If you know anything about the Strymon Cloudburst, it's, it's a very popular pedal, but it is just so beautiful and like heavenly sounding. It's a shimmer reverb, and it has this really cool effect, which we'll get into. So I just think it sounds really great with an acoustic, which you don't hear that much of. So here's the Strymon Cloudburst playing the same kind of part I was playing before with just a little bit of reverb on it. So just sounds really nice. Just a touch of reverb on there. So that's that. We are going to, just for fun, we're going to add the ensemble mode on the Cloudburst, which makes it almost sound like you have a full string section kind of playing behind you. So this is kind of the more subtle effect of that. We're going to add the Forte mode, which is more intense with that string section. So So, you know, you can add effects to this little chorus, you know, to get some interesting sounds. But reverb, just a bit of reverb playing live, you know. And now a room might already, depending on the room you're playing in, it might already provide the reverb. But if you want a really nice sound recording or just a touch playing live, it really helps like fill it in and sounds really nice. So reverb is definitely a cool thing to add on this. But so the other thing playing live is looping. So I assume, you know, putting in a pickup, you want to play it, amplify it, playing live, you know, this thing is great for that. So let's just run through looping, which a lot of acoustic players do. So this video kind of focused on if you were just had this guitar with this pickup, could you know, gigging with it, you know, it really does work. So that's kind of what we're going into. So we're gonna just do a loop. I'm gonna add just a touch of that normal reverb on there, just for the loop. You know, it sounds really nice and full. So right before I start, the one thing that I'm really happy about, which I did, you know, some research on beforehand, was how does this thing work with the percussion sounds, you know, the tapping. I'm gonna turn off that reverb. And I'm pleased to say it works very, very well. So if you have just an undersaddle piezo pickup, that still does work, but because this is not, you know, right under the strings and it's literally like on the top, like right under the bridge connected to the top, you know, you pick up all those sounds. You know, hitting right at the base of the bridge is the loudest, and you know, but anywhere on the body, like, it picks it up. So you can do all those tapping, you know, loop percussion parts. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to play a similar kind of acoustic part here for a loop. So just add a touch of reverb and let's get into it. So there's our loop. Let's get rid of that reverb and just add that percussion part here. Pretty good. So now let's just add a bit of that reverb just back for the solo here, just to improvise a bit over it. So that's just in D major. So one thing that I've noticed is, you know, it really, especially with that reverb, you know, when you get high up here, it has that really bright snap that's just really nice, and it's really dynamic. So, you know, again, just plugged in, no compressors, no anything like that. I'm literally just, you know, little sound, little picks, you know. The volume changes, the dynamics are really there, so I can go real soft and get really kind of emphasize on certain points, you know, to get louder playing. So I think that sounds really nice. I'm really impressed by this thing. I think it sounds really natural, and you know, more natural than those piezo kind of sounds. I mean, it is a piezo pickup, but it's a different kind, and it's just right under the bridge there, and it captures the top, the sound of the top, and sounds really nice and full. And just really pretty accurate to the sound of the guitar. Like, I hear my guitar in this thing, which is really cool. So just the final, most important thing I want to reemphasize is that this thing is so subtle. I love how subtle it is. I didn't have to route out the body. You know, I don't hear any wires in here. There's no intricate thing. It's literally just a small, as you saw in the unboxing part, it's a small little system, and it's just an output jack. Like, you don't see anything, you don't feel, it doesn't change the sound acoustically at all. It's so subtle, and it just sounds so good for that, and that's why it's so famous. So really, really impressed for it, and for the price. Like, I paid like $100 for this thing, and it's just fantastic. So no big, if you're worried about modifying a guitar you like, you really don't have to, because it doesn't change the look, the sound acoustically at all, and it still gives you the ability to plug in and play live when you need to, and it sounds really good for that. And as I showed you, add a touch of reverb. You can do all your loops with the percussiveness of it. It's just really, really impressive. So I really am in love with this thing, and I hope you guys could really see what it can do, you know, plugged into the system, and versus, you know, just miking it up. You know, how does it sound? So I hope this video was really informative for you guys. If you guys liked it, you know, leave a like, subscribe. I got a lot more kind of gear related videos coming, and also my own music. I've been working on an album. I have a little music on Spotify if you want to check it out. But I've been working hard on an album recently. You know, it's a lot of work. I've been doing all the parts myself, all the instruments, all the mixing and stuff, but I'm really proud of it, and I hope you guys will like it. So stay tuned for that, and thanks for watching.